and support Lincoln's kids today.
The best time to have your air conditioner serviced is before you really need it. Call Bryant now and schedule your spring air conditioning service check. No matter what brand equipment you have, Bryant's trained technicians will thoroughly clean, inspect, and test to make sure it's ready to cool efficiently when hot weather hits. You'll stay cool and comfortable when you need it most. Just call 467-1111 to schedule your air conditioning check. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. We do whatever it takes.
Integrated Life Choices has been inspiring opportunities for individuals with disabilities for more than 15 years in Lincoln and across Nebraska by offering a number of services. From group homes to independent living resources and job training, you'll find the support that allows people to live fulfilling lives. They're also hiring. If you're looking for a rewarding career supporting people with developmental disabilities, you can check out open positions along with learning more about services at ilc.net. Integrated Life Choices.
Hi, it's Charlie Stone again, and with me on the line, Andy Goodyear, General Manager of Honda of Lincoln. Andy, I know how proud you and everyone at the dealership are to earn the prestigious Honda President's Award year after year, 17 times. Tell our listeners what it means to you and your customers.
Thanks, Charlie. Yeah, all of us are extremely proud to have earned this award, and I want all of our customers to know it's not just earned by one person's efforts. It's the entire dealership. Sales, parts, and our amazing service department.
17 times. Wow. How does that compare to other Honda dealers?
This award is only given to the most elite dealerships that demonstrate excellence. We really do strive to go above and beyond for the ultimate customer experience before and after the sale, Charlie.
That's why for 2022, Honda of Lincoln is once again Nebraska's #1 volume Honda dealer. Come experience the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business, 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland.
Putback for three! And you're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin.
That's right. Welcome to it on a Friday. I'm Austin Norman in Lincoln, the 93.7 The Ticket Studios. He's Eric Strickland, the Husker Hall of Famer, the 9-year NBA vet. Strick, how you doing today, my man?
It is wonderful. It is absolutely steaming hot down here in Texas right now, but it is a wonderful day, and it's glad to be on the block with you.
We're not hearing you.
It's a Friday. Oh, you sure? Can you hear?
Let's try this.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
There we go. There we got
Okay.
you.
Yeah, it's absolutely steaming hot down here in Dallas right now, but absolutely glad to be on the block. It is Friday. What a wonderful day. Let's get into it.
Get into the Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. If you're in Lincoln, you don't have any supper plans, that's what you get into. The news that we're going to dive right into here, Strick. One of your own, a Bellevue West Thunderbird, decommits from Missouri. That's right. Quarterback Daniel Kaelin backed out of his pledge just about an hour ago. What do you make of that decision?
Well, you know, sometimes as players, now I'm not going to say this is his situation, but sometimes as players, we have a Ralph Tresvant type of mentality. If you don't know what I mean by Ralph Tresvant was a member of New Edition, and he had a song out called Sensitivity. And some of us at times have a form of male sensitivity in which we get in our feelings sometimes. And it's very possible. I don't know this situation in totality, but I can say that sometimes we get in our feelings when we're a homegrown kid. We have an interest. We've watched. We've paid attention. We love everything about Nebraska and what it is. I'm one of the best to do it in the state, and my home state is not feeling me the way that, you know, I feel that they should. Missouri is an SEC school. It is a place where he could go and maybe feel that he could thrive. But at the end of the day, there could be some conversations that have been had internally with Matt Rule and the staff. And I'm not saying that he's coming back to Nebraska. We don't know what those, the details of that is. But as you look at the landscape, you look at Casey Thompson's gone. What's there at Nebraska? Jeff Sims is an unknown. It's very possible that he could be looking at this situation and just kind of taking it all into account and then make a decision as to where he may want to be.
Let's say it is Nebraska. Again, he just decommitted about an hour ago. I don't think a decision is imminent, but you would think Nebraska would be on that list, at least interested in reaching out. I mean, he's the only other quarterback they offered in the 24 class, not named Dylan Raiola. If he ends up coming to Nebraska, do you think that's a testament to this coaching staff that they did the best they could to build a relationship while still prioritizing another quarterback? Or do you think this would just be he wanted to come to Nebraska all along, now the path is clear?
Very, very possible. Very possible. I think when you're looking at it at first, you could look at, it's a very heavy room. After spring game, you could see that things begin to thin out a little bit, kind of take a better look. It's unfortunate for Nebraska that I think we have a lot of unknowns. We're still uncertain about what Jeff Sims is, but the crazy thing about it is you can look at what's going on with the Colts and and Anthony Richardson, right? A lot of unknowns with Anthony Richardson. Very short, sample size that you're able to take on him, and yet you're hearing good things out of the Indianapolis Colts. Operations and staff, that Anthony Richardson is doing quite well, and they're actually surprised. They're impressed. And that's kind of, I think, where we're hoping to see a little bit more, have a little bit more. But what are you gonna find out in the fall? There's not much to find out in the fall. It's pretty much get to business time in the fall and get ready, get prepared for what the season's going to be. So there's not a lot you're going to learn in the fall. And with those uncertainties, I think Kaelin can be looking at things with a little bit more open mind and a different perspective because of where things sit at Nebraska. There's so many unknowns. And I think that with those unknowns and knowing that the room has shrank tremendously, there's some possibilities there to get back in the mix.
Just as important as Daniel Kaelin is rounding out the roster, around the quarterback position. And, you're a Thunderbird. That's where he went to high school. Do Thunderbirds flock together, or does that mean Isaiah McMorris and Davon Hall follow Daniel Kaelin, or do they fly solo dolo and you'd have to target all of them individually?
What was cool about what you saw is both of them are pretty speedy. They just had the state track meet. In the 100, McMorris ran like a 10.6. Davion ran like a 10.9. So you can tell they've definitely got some foot speed with them. It's still a heavy wide receiver room, and I think if I'm them, I would be observing it in the same manner. Being such a heavy room, there's a lot of uncertainty there. Who's going to step up? Who's going to be number one? If no one opens up, are there going to be people that leave? I think you got to, as a guy, you've got to look at that. Unless you're an alpha dude, like me, I don't give a damn. I'm going to come in and I'm going to try to either take my spot. If this is where I want to be, I'm coming in to take a spot. If you don't have that in you, you're looking for places to where you kind of have an easier path or road. And there's nothing wrong with that, the way of looking at it that way also. But I think there's some good teams that are looking at McMorris, and he's going to have a good option to make a choice. I think they may be looking at some NIL situations too. Who's going to have the best situation for them? I personally think being a local kid always helps you with NIL. That's my thought on it.
It definitely should. That's what we're going to talk about with Daniel Kaelin and then the two Bellevue West receivers as well. A lot of hoops throughout the rest of the show, but hour two, we're also talking best sports families. It's Archie Manning's birthday today. I saw on Twitter. So in honor of that, we know he does have 3 sons. Cooper's in there too, but we know the middle and the youngest, Peyton and Eli, much better. We'll get into the best sports families in hour 2. But Strick, next segment, I'm going to set it up a little bit here in a sec. But next segment, international basketball players versus American basketball players. The rest of the world's catching up. There are a lot of good players from all over. We touched on it a little bit yesterday. And maybe the best player on the planet right now is international. It's Nikola Jokic, but he wasn't a factor as much in the fourth quarter of last night's game between the Nuggets and the Lakers. It was the Jamal Murray show. A 5-point Nuggets win. They're up 2-0. What have you seen from these first couple games out west?
Well, that's the thing about the Denver team that I think some people may not have a full grasp or understanding of. Jokic can be that if he needs to be that. That the focal point is going to be on Jokic. The game plan, the scheme is if you stop him, slow him, shut him down, then you probably have a better chance to win. But that's not necessarily how Denver works. Denver works from a perspective of, you focus on me, 12 assists. This is how it is for me. 12 of them things are going out. 17 rebounds. See, that's the thing that's different about Jokic is that he can do it from all other, ways in the game. He has so many ways in the game that he could be effective. So therefore, you have Michael Porter Jr., efficient, 4 for 7 from 3, 5 for 10 from the field. Gordon just kind of meandering around, kind of getting little buckets here and there, still efficient. But you're right. Jamal Murray, things open up for Jamal Murray in a different way than you would expect. And as long as you get production from those other guys, they're going to be okay. On the other hand, it gets way tougher when you don't have Anthony Davis show up, especially from an offensive standpoint. Yes, 18 points, but the problem with that is inefficiency. So again, they come up short. Now the key is be on the lookout. Watch who the referees are going to be. Watch who the referees are going to be in this next game, because I don't feel that in no form or no way that the NBA is going to allow the Lakers to go down 3-0. The charter of the NBA is entertainment. Let's just understand that. There's no way I don't believe they allow the Lakers to go down 3-1. If I'm a betting man, I'm not one to give advice. As a betting man, I would be putting some cash on the Lakers for this next game.
I think you're onto something there. LeBron has been down now 9 times, a 2-0 series deficit. He's come back. He's 3-5 in series that his teams are down 2-0. The wins were the 2007 series against the Pistons. They come back, they win 4 in a row. Of course, down 3-1 to the Warriors in the 2016 finals, and then the 2018 Eastern Conference finals against Boston. So it wouldn't be unheard of for a LeBron James-led team to get down 2-0 and then come back and do it. But again, the Lakers were, the 7th seed in the regular season for a reason. They're starting to play better now. They're starting to gel. But Denver's about this. They got their 2 games at home at altitude. They outlasted. They've been solid all regular season. And as you mentioned, entertainment, Strick, we have another game 2 tonight between the Heat and the Celtics. If it's about entertainment, does the league go in for Lakers Celtics? And does it try to find a way to make sure the refs are better than Jimmy Butler?
Listen. I'm trying to tell you that ratings, if you're going for new TV deals, in every way you're hoping, I'm not going to say there's going to be anything done to make it happen. I'm just hear me out. You want Lakers Celtics. I don't care who you are, what you do in sports. If you're a pundit, if you're not, if you're Stephen A, I don't care who you are in the sports realm, you want Lakers Celtics. And especially with the TV deal coming up, there's no question in my mind that if they could make that happen, they would make it happen.
So if it's not the refs, let's say they're actually fair, balanced, neutral, they don't have a directive from the league, what's Boston got to do better? How does Boston win the series?
Well, listen, what happened, man, is Jason Tatum got away from being a 3-level scorer. The difference is Jason Tatum's and most of the Boston Celtics are this: shoot threes or at the rim. The issue with shoot threes or at the rim against the Miami Heat is you've got some pretty good guys that can handle themselves as far as blocking shots. Bam Adebayo is pretty good at rim protection, so forth and so on. But the difference between Miami, they'll mid-range you to death with Jimmy Butler, Strauss, guys like that, even Martin. Those guys will mid-range you to death. And
Lowry.
so Lowry, exactly. And so the issue is when you get the switches and the matchup situations that you want for Boston, which, Vincent getting switched on to Tatum or whoever it is, Strauss, whoever. If Tatum was a 3-level guy, he would either back them down or do like Jimmy Butler, get the guy off balance, get to a spot where he knows there's nothing you can do about it with a smaller body and mid-range you to death. But Tatum doesn't do that. He did that earlier in his career. He doesn't do that now. Unless Tatum gets back to that, that's not going to happen for Boston. Now here's the other part. Jaylen Brown, he is and has the capabilities of doing that. He has great abilities with his back to the basket as well. The difference between him is he doesn't have, his IQ isn't as high. So when you get doubles, when you get people coming off, or when you get guys shooting at him, his abilities to track and find guys and get the ball to them is not as efficient and good. So that's where a lot of their problem comes in.
Jason Tatum has taken some steps forward as a playmaker. Jaylen Brown, I still think, is best off the ball. Kind of that second side, get to the rim guy with a little bit of ability to shoot it. The other thing with him, Strick, he's dealing with a little bit of a hand injury. He's not 100%. And for a guy that needs the ball in his hands to be effective on the offensive end, to only have, one consistently working hand, that's a problem.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's no question about it. They're going to need him to be effective in this game. And, again, betting man, I would bet that they would probably be able to steal this one back, but it's not. It's they're going to win this one. I think. I don't think they go down 0-2.
I'm with you. Let's take a pause right here, and then we'll get into this conversation. How many players deep in the top NBA players playing right now? How far down the list do you have to go till you find an American player? The game's grown. It's grown internationally really ever since, the Dream Team is when I think the game really exploded internationally. Ever since then, what's the league been like? How has it changed? And, your top 3 MVP candidates this year, all from overseas. What does that mean for the NBA? What does it mean? Does America have to respond? What have those influences been? We got a lot to talk about on that front. We'll do that when we get right back here to On the Block.
You've driven by GE Landscape Supply countless times, likely without even knowing, at 6701 Cornhusker Highway. Now it's time to stop in. GE Landscape Supply sells to homeowners and contractors with a vast selection of landscaping and construction materials. They sell in bulk to save you money, and you can buy anything from a 5-gallon bucket to a semi-load. And don't forget, they deliver anywhere. Stop by 6701 Cornhusker Highway from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday to Friday, and 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturdays. Go to GELandscapeSupply.com for more info or call 402-467-1627.
Hey, CNC machinists, do you feel like you're in a dead-end job with your boss hovering over your shoulder? That's so annoying. Not at Garner Industries. We provide the opportunity and trust our CNC machinists to bring the talent. I'm Bob Williams, HR Director at Garner Industries, and we're looking for new team members in our CNC department. At Garner Industries, you'll work in a clean, climate-controlled, and safe environment with team members who want to see you succeed. You will also enjoy 4-day work weeks, great benefits, and a positive working culture. Interested? Apply on our career page at GarnerIndustries.com.
Problem gambling affects more than the gambler. It affects spouses, children, extended family members, and friends. If you are a loved one who's struggling with addiction, contact Choices Treatment Center's helpline at 402-476-2300. That's 476-2300.
It's May, and that means the school year is almost over and summer road trips are on the horizon. Stop telling yourself you'll upgrade your car someday and do it now. Mullen Motors lot is full of great vehicles to take home, so you don't have to worry about your current car barely surviving another road trip. Come check out their lot just north of 48th and Layton and find your next ride. Summer road trips are just around the corner. Mullen Motors.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
If you're in Lincoln, Waverly, or the surrounding area, listen up. Select Plumbing gets it right the first time on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate at 402-560-6197. Plus, they're hiring service plumbers. If you're in Lincoln, Waverly, or the surrounding area, contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning now. In our new time, we're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
You don't think about your roof very often, but you should never take it for granted. Roofing Service Company takes every measure to provide you with the highest quality roofing solution. Whether it's a new roof installation, roof repair, or a re-roofing project, their overall goal is to provide you with a pleasant experience and a long-lasting roof. If you have a need for siding or gutters, they're your place too. Visit roofingservicecompany.com for more info today.
Springtime is here, and it's time to get to work on outdoor projects. Deck City is a great place to start as Lincoln's local source for everything decks. Deck City has everything you need to build the deck of your dreams, from treated lumber to Westbury aluminum railings and TimberTech composite decking. Call them today to schedule an appointment at 402-480-6671. Go online at deckcityne.com or visit their new location just north of 33rd and Cornhusker Highway.
This is Brian at Midwest Bank, and we've been proudly serving clients in the Lincoln community since 2008, and we're excited to open a second location in January 2024 at 70th and Pioneers Boulevard. Our new branch will provide all the convenient services you're looking for in a bank, along with the friendly staff we're known for. Whether you're starting a business or expanding your business, our team is here for you, your community, your bank, Midwest Bank. Find out more at midwestbank.com, member FDIC.
The best time to have your air conditioner serviced is before you really need it. Call Bryant now and schedule your spring air conditioning service check. No matter what brand equipment you have, Bryant's trained technicians will thoroughly clean, inspect, and test to make sure it's ready to cool efficiently when hot weather hits. You'll stay cool and comfortable when you need it most. Just call 467-1111 to schedule your air conditioning check. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. We do whatever it takes.
Your home should not be a zoo to unwelcomed animals. Let the experts at Bats to Rats take care of those problems. Dane has been a leader in wildlife and pest management and prevention in Lincoln and the surrounding area for 15 years. He can help you get rid of bats, rodents, and anything else. Whether it's residential or commercial buildings, schools, apartments, or churches, they're always a phone call away. Call today at 402-310-0904 or visit batsterats.com. Bats to Rats Wildlife Control and Prevention.
Some kids worry about making the sports team. Others worry about where they'll sleep tonight. In Lincoln, 300 kids are in need of a safe and loving home. Cedars is here for them, but we do need your help. A gift to Cedars makes an immediate impact on Lincoln's kids. And on Give to Lincoln Day, your gift goes even further. I'm Jim Blue, president of the Cedars organization, and I'm asking you to go to givetolincoln.com to make your gift to Cedars and support Lincoln's kids today.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
That's right. We're back here on the Block, Hour 1 on a Friday. Thanks for joining us. Text line 402-464-5685. Answer me this question. Who's the best international player in NBA history? Strick, we'll dive into that in just a sec. But I want to take you back. It's your thoughts. You're growing up. You're in high school, college. You see the dream team. You're living through that. You see the 92 team for the Olympics go over to Barcelona and absolutely dominate. And it seems like from then on, the rest of the world really picked up its game. I mean, I know you had, Artemis Sabonis, DeMontis' dad. You had Hakeem. You had Patrick Ewing, born in Jamaica. But now, Strick, there are basketball players from all across the globe playing in the NBA. What was it about that team, and what have you seen since then for the growth of international basketball coming over to the NBA?
Well, I mean, that team was necessary because in '88, it was the Russians and the Yugoslavians that played in the finals, and so the international scene used to be pretty much college guys that were, coming out of college that would play, and so it got to a point where they were just surpassing, the level of the skill, and we started to fall short, and that's where the dream team was created, is because they wanted to re-exert that dominance of basketball was here in the United States, and they amassed the best of the best to do it, and that's why they went out and they did so in dominating fashion. The popularity of the game obviously began to be sparked with Hakeem Olajuwon early, and him being the first round draft pick, coming over playing, and then you've got the Patrick Ewings, and you had that generation of players, Arvydas Sabonis, and the crazy thing about Sabonis is, had Sabonis come over earlier, he would have been a problem, because the younger Arvydas Sabonis, you think Jokic, you see what Jokic, Arvydas Sabonis back then was Jokic now, but with more strength and just a little bit more solidness to now. You know what, I can't say that he's more skilled, but he did things pretty much the same way that Jokic did. So then you had that, and then you started to see the Kukoc emerge, guys like Steve Nash. So the international game began to be sparked a little bit. This is how you get Wiggins and Embiids. The guys are kind of following up from the Patrick Ewings. People don't even know that Patrick Ewing's an international player. And so you begin to see that these players, these younger players, the Embiids, the Goberts, the Luka Doncic, they've been watching those individuals come out of their respective areas. Manu Ginobili was a unique one coming out of South America, and then you've had the Gasols, because Spain was a huge league over at that time internationally that a lot of people wanted to go to. So that's where it kind of spawned from. I think Tony Parker opened up the French doors, and Boris Diaw and a lot of guys like that. A lot of them were role players. At first came over, was solid, and then you started to see the Tony Parkers, the Dirk Nowitzkis, Steve Nash's just start to go to a whole nother level and to be recognized. And now we find ourselves at this place. This is the place that we are now. A record 6 international players were named to the All-NBA team last year. Antetokounmpo, first team. Jokic, first team. Doncic, first team. Embiid, second team. Gobert, third team. And people forget that Kyrie Irving also is international.
Australian. Yeah.
So it's kind of crazy, but you start to see that it has a little bit more flavor than what you would normally expect. And then you have the All-Star game, where there was also a record tying 4 starters with Embiid, Antetokounmpo, Doncic, and Gobert, as well as Wiggins. So it's crazy. Now, here's why this is the case. The AAU system, as Kobe even stated, you don't have to take this from Strick. Kobe, I've said this a long time ago. I just hated the AAU system the way that it is. But Kobe even said it. He says it's doing a disservice to the game of basketball for young players, because it's basically a toss up and play and run and jump and go and show athletic skills and put on mixtapes, and it's all flash and flash and dash. There's nothing really skilled about it. You see guys doing all of this dribbling these days. Like, yes, there's skill in that, but back in the day, we're 2 dribbles to where we needed to get to. It was how fast can we get to where we need to get to without in the most effective and efficient way. Now it takes guys. I would hate covering guys these days because it takes guys 20 dribbles to get to where they want to get to, and the whole shot clock runs out by that time. So whereas over there, it's built on, this is where you get Jokic's. It's built on work your magic, get to where you need to get to, what's coming, what's drawing, and then what's the best and most effective play to make. And that's kind of taken out of the game here in the United States. It's all about flash and glory. I think the street ball stuff at one point in time, I forgot what it used to be called.
And one
mixtape stuff, all of that, when that came out, it was good. It was for show, but it really created a mental state for a lot of kids that kind of, I think, messed up the game some.
And I think we see that in the Olympics, right? The U.S. team practices together a little bit. Yeah, they'll qualify, but it's not the same Olympic team that does the qualifying. But for a lot of countries, their stars help their countries qualify. They play together in the youth system on the same team, develop kind of that team construct first, and then, learn how to fit in. The other thing that's interesting about international basketball to me, Strick, is how the narrative has changed to where, back when you were playing, up till probably the 2010s, give or take, it was the big question for any international prospect, especially the European ones, was, can they handle the physical nature? Are they too soft? Will their skill overcome it? And I think an example that you got to play with that really worked to overcome that and prove that he could be tough as well as skilled was Dirk Nowitzki. I think that paradigm has shifted a little bit to where now the American game is so open, so free-flowing, so points-oriented that I think the pendulum swung back a little bit to where Europe is almost more physical in some ways now.
Yeah, I mean, again, it took Dirk some time because he still played that style for quite a while until he got to that Golden State series. I want to say it was in 2010. It was two series. The 06, he learned a lot of lessons from with that loss because they should have freaking beat Miami. That's no question in my mind. I was around. I was actually working for the organization then. It was disappointing to watch, but also there was some funny stuff in that one as well. It was the referees in that game. That game 3, I think it was. I want to say,
he wage out like 25.
Oh gosh, it was ludicrous what was going on. You can't tell me that the Mavericks weren't being that any less aggressive than that. As I was watching, I was very hokey. So he learned from that, but the real lesson that Dirk learned from, as far as the physicality part and where he really went into beast mode, was the year that Steven Jackson and Baron Davis, where they really punked him. Like, I mean, they got in his face. They were physical. They were bumping him. They were hitting him with elbows. They did everything they can to take his heart. And from that point on, he was like, oh no, this is not happening. And it changed for him. I thought you started to see kind of some of the same stuff they used to do with Steve Nash. I remember he broke his nose. Steve Nash is going down, and I want to say was it Robert Horry? It was somebody that hit him on the sideline, knocked him out of bounds, and that changed that whole Phoenix Suns series that they were playing. I can't remember who that was, but they really got physical with Steve Nash in a situation too. So you started to see a lot of that start to happen with them. But guess what? Some of the most physical guys now are
Derek Fisher.
It was Fish.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I remember something happened and really changed the dynamic of that series when they were making their run. But here's the crazy thing, and this is just something. Giannis is one of the most physically dominating people on the court. You can see how physical Jokic plays in his style. Joel Embiid, finesse, but yet still has those capabilities. But here's what's crazy. Their international players have actually been dominating the NBA over the recent years, right? An NBA-born player hasn't won a Most Valuable Player award since 2017 and 18. You can thank Nikola Jokic and Giannis Antetokounmpo to include Embiid in this last one, right? Every defensive player award since 2016 and 17 has gone to an international player also. Rudy Gobert winning 3 of them, Giannis winning once, and you know, and then it's been a 2-man race between Antetokounmpo and Gobert again. So it's crazy that they've basically taken the skill set of the games and have elevated them, where sometimes a lot of the American players have just wanted to be flash and dash.
Who right
and
now?
You can see that with LeBron. Like just recently, there was a LeBron lost the ball in the paint and didn't even get back on defense. Like
gave up.
That's stuff that you pretty much you would rarely see with a lot of international players. It's you know, it's both ends of the court always.
So you mentioned Giannis, you mentioned Joker. We've thrown Luke in that conversation and Embiid, the most recent MVP. Who's the best American-born player right now in the league?
Right now?
Yeah, right now. Best American-born player.
American-born.
Yeah.
I would probably say it'd have to be, you know, it's hard for me to say, but I'd probably have to say, maybe Tatum.
Okay.
Maybe Tatum.
I like where you're going, because to me, it comes down to 4 guys. Tatum's in the conversation, KD, Steph, and LeBron.
Yeah. I don't think LeBron's there. I think his age is, you know, he's aged out. I think he's peaked out. Steph is still at a high level, but I think Steph is kind of getting there too. You know, they've peaked out, and there's still more that they can do for a team to win, but I just think they peaked out. So I would have to say maybe Tatum. Okay. And I still think there's more to go for Tatum. I'm you know, it's debatable for me. It's not locked in stone. That's what's scary about it. There's no one that really just jumps out at me and is like, oh yeah, you're the one. You know what I'm saying? Like on the other side, I can actually say it's you know, Joker or Antetokounmpo for me. You know, you can kind of debate depending on what you like. You know, that's kind of how I look at them too.
So throwing my Duke bias and my scoring wing bias out of the way here, Jason Tatum isn't a better player than Joker or Giannis right now.
I don't.
That's just a fact. Is Jason Tatum the 3rd best player in the NBA, or do you put Embiid in front of him? Do you put Luka in front of him? Any other guys before we get to your current best American-born player?
Yeah, I say Luka for me is down. He's not up there as high. I think his scoring, his skill set is very high. But he doesn't play defense. Very lazy. He doesn't do both sides of the floor enough for me. So that doesn't work. Yeah. Well, what else? What else?
So in that case, you're really going with Embiid versus Tatum for the number 3 player. Who do you take?
I think Embiid just really showed me that when it comes down to it, I have to put Tatum over him just because of what Tatum did to him. You know, like you know, hit him with a 50 ball, like you know, I'm giving you this work. Like, yeah, you're the MVP, but you know, take this. And matter of fact, I'm giving it to you one-on-one. I'm gonna switch off on you. Come get this. And Embiid had Marcus Smart on him and Grant Williams, and I'm like, you can't play like that, my boy, with them type of guys. You need to be able to dominate. They should never be able to do that to you if you're an MVP. If you're an MVP, you're salivating over the perspective of those types of matchups if you're an MVP.
Right now, I got 2 questions for you to wrap up before we get to some breaking news in our final segment of this hour. Okay, right now, 5-on-5, international team versus American team. Who wins?
What's the team?
Okay, so I'm thinking the international team will be Joker, Giannis, Let's go Embiid because in that conversation. And then for the guards, I'll give them Luka and Jamal Murray right now. You could also maybe throw Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in there for one of those. That's solid. The American team, I think you go Steph, you go KD, you go LeBron, Tatum, and healthy Kawhi.
Too small.
They don't have a big. You're right about
Too
that.
small.
There's no. Who's the best American big? Carl Anthony Towns.
Still,
does he count?
I would be actually rolling international in that situation, because here's why. They're going to play the right way.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to defend. They're going to help each other, and they're going to distribute and pass. International basketball is so much harder. I mean, you just listen to them say it's so much harder because there's less space. It's less space. That means you've got to work. You've got to set great screens. You've got to know how to cut. You've got to know how to pass. You've got to know where guys are. It's so many aspects of the game that goes on with that internationally that I think that team that you just told me, I don't think the other team would have a chance.
We'll end the segment with this: the best international NBA player of all time. Who is it?
I would say Hakeem.
Anyone, anywhere close? Is it Hakeem then Dirk?
Yeah. I would say Hakeem. I mean, Hakeem did what he did, still undersized to real centers.
Right.
If Hakeem played against guys today, and they didn't have the size. Too much footwork. I would have to say Hakeem. Throw it out to the text line. To put it out there. Let the text line 402-464-5685. I would love to hear what they think as well. I would say Hakeem, Dirk, Joker.
Giannis is working his way up there.
Then you've got to look at
Powell, Dikembe?
Powell. Dikembe kind of in the middle range because I still think people don't know that Dragan Petrovic. Oh, he was that guy. Look. Let me tell you something. Michael Jordan didn't want to see him. Dragan Petrovic was that guy. Michael Jordan had to, salute him even. Because he would give people that work. He was not afraid. He didn't care. There was a couple international players that didn't even come over here that if they would have came, problems. But yeah, I would say them. Dragan Petrovic would have to be up there. I mean, you got to look at guys like, I think he's a little bit further down. Stojakovic, guys that can shoot like that.
Steve Nash and Tony Parker are probably the top two guards. Is that right?
Yeah, I would have to say that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you're on to something.
Good deal. Text line, let us know. Again, 402-464-5685. Who's the best international-born NBA player of all time? Also on Twitter at estrick20 and at Austin_Orman. Tweet us and let us know. Breaking news out of the NFL world. A legend has passed away. We'll touch on that before we get into hour 2 of On the Block next.
Nebraska's favorite vape shop,
Generation V.
Providing friendly, personalized service and the largest selection of vaporizers and e-liquid flavors in the state.
Generation V.
Generation V will beat or match any local competitor's price. With a huge selection, great service, and the lowest prices, Generation V is your one-stop shop for all your vaping needs.
Generation V.
With 4 Lincoln locations. Visit us on the web at generationv.com. E-cigs contain nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
Springtime is here, and it's time to get to work on outdoor projects. Deck City is a great place to start as Lincoln's local source for everything decks. Deck City has everything you need to build the deck of your dreams. From treated lumber to Westbury aluminum railings and TimberTech composite decking. Call them today to schedule an appointment at 402-480-6671. Go online at deckcityne.com or visit their new location just north of 33rd and Cornhusker Highway.
Your home should not be a zoo to unwelcomed animals. Let the experts at Bats to Rats take care of those problems. Dane has been a leader in wildlife and pest management and prevention in Lincoln and the surrounding area for 15 years. He can help you get rid of bats, rodents, and anything else. Whether it's residential or commercial buildings, schools, apartments, or churches, they're always a phone call away. Call today at 402-310-0904 or visit batsterats.com. Bats to Rats Wildlife Control and Prevention.
Integrated Life Choices has been inspiring opportunities for individuals with disabilities for more than 15 years in Lincoln and across Nebraska by offering a number of services. From group homes to independent living resources and job training, you'll find the support that allows people to live fulfilling lives. They're also hiring. If you're looking for a rewarding career supporting people with developmental disabilities, you can check out open positions along with learning more about services at ilc.net. Integrated Life Choices.
Allo is here to give you the FYI. Are your shows buffering? We know why. Are your games lagging? Don't deny. Your work calls dropping? Here's the FYI. Your old school internet company can't keep up. They give it a try. Their network isn't enough. Don't get trapped in their gimmicks and lies. It's time to fiber your internet with Allo. Honest, local, and hassle-free is what we stand by. Experience Allo Internet. Visit allofiber.com/FYI.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again and they're hiring for production operators at $24.11 per hour, which grows to $28.27 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $32.76 per hour with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates, with increased bonuses and vacation for new hires. To learn more or to apply, go to continental-jobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
You've driven by GE Landscape Supply countless times, likely without even knowing, at 6701 Cornhusker Highway. Now it's time to stop in. GE Landscape Supply sells to homeowners and contractors with a vast selection of landscaping and construction materials. They sell in bulk to save you money, and you can buy anything from a 5-gallon bucket to a semi-load. And don't forget, they deliver anywhere. Stop by 6701 Cornhusker Highway from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday to Friday and 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturdays. Go to GELandscapesupply.com for more info or call 402-467-1627.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
The best time to have your air conditioner serviced is before you really need it. Call Bryant now and schedule your spring air conditioning service check. No matter what brand equipment you have, Bryant's trained technicians will thoroughly clean, inspect, and test to make sure it's ready to cool efficiently when hot weather hits. You'll stay cool and comfortable when you need it most. Just call 467-1111 to schedule your air conditioning check. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. We do whatever it takes.
Brown Shoe Fit has all types of shoes for you to excel this summer. Check out their new Keen and Tiva brand sandals for hiking and Olukai sandals for sitting by the pool. Plus, they're stocked up on Hey Dudes to catch you up on the latest shoe fashion. They also have shoes in brands like Brooks, Hoka, Merrell, On, and many more. Browns has the local professionals to get the proper fit, aided by their high-tech foot scanner by Atrex. Stop by Brown Shoe Fit today, just south of 66 and Q in Lincoln.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Areas of smoke and haze will still be a concern, especially the first half of the day, but we should see conditions gradually improve. It will be cooler, a high of around 69. North winds could gust near 30. A low tonight all the way down to around 40. Tomorrow we will warm right back up. Sunny skies with a high of around 75. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Wrapping up hour one of On the Block with a little bit of sad news here. Just came over the wire that NFL legend, and I mean legend in the highest sense of the word, Jim Brown passed away at his home today at age 87. To list all his accolades would take the rest of the hour and could go on most of next hour as well. He did win a Super Bowl with the Browns in '64, three-time MVP, Rookie of the Year. Of his 9-year career, he was All-Pro, first team 8 times, took a break in the middle of his career to be a second-team All-Pro, 9-year Pro Bowler, led the NFL in rushing 8 of his 9 seasons, and rushing touchdowns 5 of the 9 seasons. Strick, it's sad to hear Jim Brown passed away. What a fantastic career he did over those 9 years before just walking away to go act.
Yeah, and he also has the per-game record of 104 yards. 104 yards a game, which even back in the days of running was phenomenal. But even now is one that is rarely going to be even sniffed. But here's the crazy thing about Jim Brown and his career. Jim Brown was a tremendous athlete in every form. Leaving the game at its highest pinnacle, 9 years, just because he felt that it wasn't, he wanted to stimulate his mind just beyond what it was. It's like football was just so easy for him. He wanted to do something, so he gets into acting, he gets into civil rights. But a lot of people don't know that he played basketball, he played lacrosse, he played baseball, he ran track. He was also part of the water polo team. As a sophomore at Syracuse, he was the second leading scorer on the basketball team. I mean, he was a super athlete, bro. So he wasn't just good at football. I mean, we talk about great athletes, but Jim Brown was really a super athlete, and for his time was actually tapping into areas where most African Americans weren't doing. I mean, you didn't really see African Americans doing a lot of polo or lacrosse back then, but he was out there getting it.
He sure was. He set the Long Island record of 38 points per game in high school in Manhasset Secondary School. Care to guess who eventually broke his points per game scoring record?
Who was that?
Carl Yastrzemski.
Oh, wow. Now, that's a name. That's a name to throw out there as well. It's one I haven't heard in a while, but yeah, absolutely. Carl Yastrzemski. I remember that.
So our thoughts and prayers for Jim Brown's family. Absolutely. Yeah. His wife put out a post on Instagram announcing the news. So we keep the Browns family, literally the Cleveland Browns family and the family of Jim Brown in our thoughts and prayers up for them. With that, we'll step aside, bring on hour 2 of On the Block, talking about the best sports families in history, who are royalty, who had the lineage to follow through and be great in multiple generations. We'll talk about that when we get to hour 2 here on the block.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. The home of Kansas City Royals baseball. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
It's May, and that means the school year is almost over and summer road trips are on the horizon. Stop telling yourself you'll upgrade your car someday and do it now. Mullen Motors lot is full of great vehicles to take home, so you don't have to worry about your current car barely surviving another road trip. Come check out their lot just north of 48th and Layton and find your next ride. Summer road trips are just around the corner. Mullen Motors.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
You don't think about your roof very often, but you should never take it for granted. Roofing Service Company takes every measure to provide you with the highest quality roofing solution. Whether it's a new roof installation, roof repair, or a re-roofing project, their overall goal is to provide you with a pleasant experience and a long-lasting roof. If you have a need for siding or gutters, they're your place too. Visit roofingservicecompany.com for more info today.
This is Brian at Midwest Bank, and we've been proudly serving clients in the Lincoln community since 2008, and we're excited to open a second location in January 2024 at 70th and Pioneers Boulevard. Our new branch will provide all the convenient services you're looking for in a bank, along with the friendly staff we're known for. Whether you're starting a business or expanding your business, our team is here for you. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank. Find out more at MidwestBank.com, member FDIC.
If you're in Lincoln, Waverly, or the surrounding area, listen up. Select Plumbing gets it right the first time on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate at 402-560-6197. Plus, they're hiring service plumbers. If you're in Lincoln, Waverly, or the surrounding area, contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Too many people believe that chronic pain, allergies, or illness are permanent and something you're stuck with. Novotny Nutrition and Wellness has been proving that narrative wrong for 29 years and changing lives for the better in the process. Their team is trained in the newest, most advanced pain-relieving techniques and ways to deal with toxins, allergies, pollution, and emotion that make you ill. Call today for a free consultation at 531-254-5695 or go to novotnynutritionandwellness.com. Novotny Nutrition and Wellness, located at 7th and Superior.
There's a lot of realtors in Lincoln, but don't get overwhelmed by all the names. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realtor Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate is your go-to option when buying or selling residential and commercial property. Ben's team offers unbeatable customer service and promises to make the buying and selling process as stress-free as possible. Call Ben today at 402-419-6309 for all your real estate needs. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate. No pressure, just professionalism. If you're interested in installing solar panels in Nebraska, there's a name you need to know. Solar by Alpine Electric is based out of Lincoln, and you can be sure your project will be handled with care and detail because Rick, the owner of Solar by Alpine Electric, will be involved in the entire process from start to finish. We're an REC Solar Certified Pro installer and handle jobs in Lincoln and the surrounding area. Let us show you real-time results in your area. Call Rick today at 402-440-4371. Solar by Alpine Electric.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Brown Shoe Fit has all types of shoes for you to excel this summer. Check out their new Keen and Tiva brand sandals for hiking and Olukai sandals for sitting by the pool. Plus, they're stocked up on Hey Dudes to catch you up on the latest shoe fashion. They also have shoes in brands like Brooks, Hoka, Merrell, On, and many more. Browns has the local professionals to get the proper fit, aided by their high-tech foot scanner by Aetrex. Stop by Brown Shoe Fit today, just south of 66th and Q in Lincoln.
Early break with Sip and Jake.
McMurphy has Nebraska in the Las Vegas Bowl. That would be incredible. That would be absolutely amazing. Here's when the Vegas Bowl is. It's before Christmas. It is so easy to get to Las Vegas for Nebraska fans. There's now a direct flight from Lincoln via Redway, the new at Lincoln Airport. Omaha has direct flight. Grand Island has direct flights to Vegas.
It would be flooded with Nebraska.
It would be awesome.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland.
Strickland for three! And you're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin.
Yes, it is hour 2 on a Friday. Hope that you took a late lunch and aren't coming back from it. Hope you went to Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul, made yourself happy, and got your weekend started off right. Shout out Charles and everyone down there at Mary Ellen's. Make great food, make a great environment, great little area, nice place to sit down, have a nice comfort food kind of meal, and then go on your merry way, happy and ready to go. I'm Austin Norman, joined as always by Eric Strickland down in Dallas. Stricky, how's the city treating you?
The city's great. It's hot. It's hot. It feels like there was no spring. It seemed like I've had to be down here a few times over the last few months, and it feels like it went from chilly to super hot really quickly. Nephew's graduating. Nephew will be graduating on Saturday. Tomorrow, the family's getting together. Dad's coming in town. Mom's already here. There'll be some family. We'll do a dinner tonight, and then tomorrow. I don't understand this part, but the actual graduation is like at nighttime, like 7 o'clock. I've never heard that, but okay, we'll be there.
Very
We'll be
nice.
there,
Well,
clapping.
my younger brother is graduating from Nebraska tomorrow, and he'll beat me to walking. I did graduate. I do have the diploma and the degree, but graduated during COVID, so he gets to actually walk, unlike me.
I know that's terrible. That I actually feel bad for a lot of students that didn't get a chance to actually have that experience of walking due to the COVID situation and not being able to get together and be with family. I mean, you think about just how much that did to a lot of families. Then there are certain places where you just couldn't even get together and freaking have picnics, and some places didn't even allow you to get together as families just because of I guess the rules and regulations at the time. But unfortunate for you, it didn't work, man. I hate that for you, because I sure did. I didn't do anything crazy when I walked. People probably thought I was gonna wild out, do a dance or something, but I just kind of strolled across there the way I should. Like, I belong here, baby. I walked across that stage like this. I belong here. Don't get it twisted.
You put in your work on the court and off. Academic all big 8, as we like to remind people on this show. Did you know I did my high school graduation speech?
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
So are you? What are they? You were cum laude or something?
So that's a funny story. No, actually. Lincoln Lutheran just did it where you could submit a speech and they would pick one or two. So I was one of them, and then a girl did one as well. I'm trying to think, there were 43 kids in my graduating class. The top 4, I think, ACT scores in the class, which was me, one of them. None of us were in the top 10% of GPA.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that means that you just you were just doing enough to get through. That shows me really what that was about. But you're a hard worker because of the work that you put in here on the block, the research and the time that you put in. So I know that that's not you. What was in the past is in the past.
Well, it's not like I was carrying a C's, get degrees attitude. I mean, I still had like a 3.85 or something like that.
Yeah, you were on the verge. You were knocking at the door. Yeah. I think more than anything, I wanted to get good grades to show that I wasn't just an athlete, because I really took into account what it said. Student athlete, you're therefore a student first, and then the athletic part of it is privilege, so you get the privilege to do that because of the work and the time that you put in the classroom. I just think that there's so many lessons that you learn, Austin, by way of the classroom, about life. There's no one that's going to wake you up. There's no one that's going to tell you to go in and do that. You guys have it way easier than we did, Austin, I would say, and some of you listeners out here, where we had to go and do research and microfiche, and we had to go check out these little things and sit on these things and scroll through trying to do research, and the work that we had to do back then was crazy. Going there, you had to learn how to figure books were and going, man, it was crazy.
But none of us had it as hard as Nick, who had to literally catch bugs to graduate.
That is true. And deservedly so, he's enjoying that time right now.
That he is. We're enjoying our time here on the block. Hope you are as well. Thanks for tuning in with us. We're here 2 to 4 every weekday. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. Your radio dial, Allo Channel 951. Of course, the free app for your phone. All right, Strick, I saw it was Archie Manning's birthday today. Happy birthday to him. And that just got me thinking. who are the best sports families of all time? I mean, I think the Mannings have to be, pretty far up there with what Archie did in his college and NFL career. Peyton being the best NFL quarterback of all time. Don't come at me. And then Eli Manning, also probably the second greatest quarterback of all time for what he did in taking down Tom Brady a couple times. But we know what the Mannings did. Outside of them, who are some other, first families of football that come up?
Oh, we're going to just stick to football?
Oh, no, not just sticking there. We're just starting there.
Okay. I mean, you've got to look at the Matthews. Clay Sr., Bruce, Clay Jr., Clay the Third, Kevin, Jake, and Casey. I mean, let's just run it off. You've got to look at the Matthews. Got a whole treasure trove of Matthews that passed through the gauntlet. So yeah, I think that's one of the ones. You probably got to look at the Sharps. Shannon and Sterling were tremendous. Sterling was a 6-time All-Pro wideout, Hall of Famer. Brought in 65 touchdowns. His career was just cut short. It wasn't that he was great or he couldn't have done more. It just was cut short because of a neck injury that he had. A couple of years before 1996. I actually get to play golf with Sterling periodically in different events. Great guy, man. Sterling's a phenomenal dude. Can play golf too quite well. And then obviously Shannon. So those are two that you probably got to look at as well. Let's see who else.
Did you throw the Harbaughs in there, Jim and John?
Oh yeah, the Harbaughs. Yeah. Those are definitely a few that you could throw in.
The Ryans, yeah, you have Rex and Rob, and then their dad was a long time
coach. Yeah, the coaching carousel for them was definitely a good one as well. The Browners.
Yeah.
The Browners were one as well. You had Ross, Jim, Joey, I think, Keith Jr., Ross's son, also Max Starks. You had that was a pretty good family tree as well.
What about, okay, I got two of them. One a little closer to home. Our guy, Jay Foreman, his dad, Chuck.
Yeah.
Like that one. Here's kind of an off-the-wall one. The Luck family, Oliver and Andrew.
Oh, I see. I didn't know that. I didn't know Oliver's was part of that. I did not know.
So Oliver himself, obviously not as not quite as good as Andrew was, because he didn't end up playing that long in the NFL. Only threw like 13 touchdowns and 2,500 yards. But what Oliver Luck did was off the field. He was a GM in NFL Europe for a while. AD all over the place. His alma mater, West Virginia included. Did a lot of work with the college football playoff in that community. So I think that's a little bit of kind of an off-the-wall one, but maybe worthy of inclusion. Basketball. Any basketball families?
We can't forget about the as Craig on the text line says, you can't forget about the Watts and the Bosas. I mean, those are definitely ones that are right there, on top. If you're going to look present, you're going to look present time. I mean, we're kind of running through the past. You got to look present time. You got to look at the Kelce's playing now. Both the Kelsey brothers. That was an amazing thing to have them both play against each other in a Super Bowl. I thought that was just dope. I mean, right. What do you do as a family, as a mom or dad? I mean, one wears one jersey. I mean, those types of things happen all the time. I mean, you saw that happen with the Currys. So you definitely have the Currys.
Another one from the text line, the McCaffreys.
Oh yeah. The McCaffreys is part of that line. I think if you're going to look at basketball also, I mean, you've got to look at Thompson's. You've got to look at Clay and Michael.
I don't know much about Michael Thompson as a player. What was it?
Yeah, Michael Thompson, he played with Magic and the crew, the Lakers, and he had a pretty good run, just kind of as a solid role player, big man. He could actually get busy. He could score, but he had one or two seasons where he was solid as far as that, and then kind of just became a good role player. I mean, legendary family as well as the Millers. You got to look at Reggie, Cheryl, and Daryl. That family was a phenomenal basketball family. If we're talking basketball, You got to look at the Berries: Rick Barry, Scooter, John, Brent, Drew. Yeah, all of them, had some pretty good success with playing in the basketball realm of things. And who else?
So I'm going to throw this out there
Yeah.
while you keep thinking. Someone on the text line said the Gasols, but that's siblings. I don't know if I've necessarily the way at least I framed this was different generations.
Generations.
Yeah, which is where like the Berries fit in with Rick and Brent and all of that. So yes,
Yeah.
the Gasols kind of count. The Diggs brothers in football kind of count. The Watts maybe. But again, I was kind of thinking more generations. Maybe we should expand it to siblings because there are a lot out there.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of siblings. But I understand exactly. I mean, the Matthews is one as well. If you're gonna, definitely take that stance. Who else? Good gosh, I mean, it's so many. I'll tell you one that I like, but it's on the baseball side.
Okay.
The Negroes.
Mm.
Phil, the knuckleball bandits. I mean, they would knuckleball you to death, that family. Phil, Joe, and Lance. The whole family was crazy. If you needed some knuckleball work, they would be ones that would get you. If you're talking siblings, you got to look at the Barbers. Definitely Tiki and Rondé. Other siblings, a lot of siblings right now in football. I mean, they're all over the place. One that I love is boxing, is the Spinks family. For boxing, I mean, you're talking about generations of families. You can also, look at, Ali's tree. Obviously his daughter Layla was a phenomenal champion. Muhammad.
Didn't Floyd have some family?
Yes, his dad, Floyd's dad, and then he himself was. I don't think he had any brothers but definitely him and his dad. Who else? What else we got out there? Sutter Heyman text line, help us out. Yes,
saying the Lopez brothers in basketball.
Yes. Ken Griffey Sr., Jr. Yeah, definitely Griffey.
Oh, Vlad Guerrero and Vladito.
Yes. I love the one Craig threw out there. He threw out a racing family. And if you're going to throw out racing family, yes, you've got the Andretti's, but you also got to throw out the Petties, right?
Craig was going off. He said Andretti's, he said Petties, he also said the Earnharts.
Yeah. See that the racing families, that's those trees definitely flow down. There's another one though I'm missing on the racing side. I can't remember it. My mind's drawing a blank. I mean, there's so many names out there, bro.
So many of them.
Names.
I'm trying to look. I don't know. Here's kind of an off the wall one. What about when you go to wrestling and the McMahons?
So that's leadership though, because I don't think Vince ever wrestled.
No.
So you're seeing the passing down of the torch in the tree.
Yeah.
What about the brothers though? If you're gonna go that route, what about the brothers that do the commentary? You have the one that said, "It's time," and then you have the other one that says, "Let's get ready to rumble." They've created their own.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting their names though. Help me out, text line. The guys that do the comments. You know how much money they freaking make each time they do that?
So much, I bet. The buffers.
The buffers.
Yeah. Michael, let's get ready to rumble guy.
Michael, and then the other one is
Bruce
Buffer. Yeah, those guys. Could you imagine just stepping in the ring and just doing some hype commentary, and you walk out the door with like $1 million?
Just to say that.
Come on, man. There's no greater career. That's why, I tell people, man, Austin, I'm not mad at guys like Mark Jackson, because Mark Jackson and Van Gundy, I'm like, why would you want the stress of having to deal with the egos, the maniacs of minds that you have to deal with in the locker room, where you could just go down there, sit down, do your doggone thing, and get the heck on? That's why I kind of shifted to refereeing, because it was so much easier to go be part of the game, stay in shape, but yet I don't have to deal. I can hear, I'm used to hearing you talk your craziness. I'm used to that. Standing at the free throw line, people saying all kinds of crazy stuff, 17,000 roaring. I'm used to that. I can handle that. But dealing with parents sometimes and just all the craziness and all the political stuff that you have to deal with, I don't envy those guys. That's why I'm cool with like guys like Mark Jackson and those guys when they want to go sit in the booth and do their thing. They go home at night, get on the next plane and go to another city.
Yeah. Okay, let's bring this back home a little bit. Nebraska families. The one that comes to mind for me is Will Shields and then Siobhan.
Yeah. Will Shields, Siobhan. Wasn't Newcombs? Wasn't the Newcombs?
Like Bobby?
Bobby, and then but didn't Bobby have an older dad or family member?
He very well might have.
I can't remember for
Next
sure.
line, help us out.
Definitely, yes, Nathan. Yes, that's a great one. The Steinkuhlers. Yes,
yep.
Yes. The Rudes, linebacker U for the Rudes. Yeah, man, you guys help us out with those, because those miss me. Piekowski's.
Okay.
Eric had sons that came through. Markowski, definitely, with a daughter now. That's definitely one. Who else?
Getting one for the Cottons, Barney and Sam and Jake and Ben. The football side.
Yeah, the football side of things. Yeah, the Cottons are definitely, the Cottons are huge up there. Johnny Rogers had it? I didn't know about that, no.
I didn't either. Text line, elaborate on that one. What's that about Johnny Rogers?
Yeah, that one throws me off. Definitely the Peter brothers, if you're going to go siblings. The siblings definitely is one.
The Banderas, Tom and Josh.
I don't know. The Raiola one hasn't hit yet. We that's wishful thinking, everybody on the text line. We love all that. That's great wishful thinking. We're gonna go ahead and put it out in the atmosphere. You guys are great on that. But yeah, man, there's so many. I wish there would have been a Strickland one. I have a son. My son is 6'6", 260.
Woo.
And he was about 240 at 250 in high school. And he I brought my daughter, just didn't get my height. My son did. My daughter just didn't. If she would have, she ended up playing libero, but she wanted to go to Arizona, University of Arizona. But I brought them at one point when they were still kind of young, before they really was about to go to high school and start figuring it out. I brought them both to the University of Nebraska, and I walked them around. I took them into the locker rooms. I showed them, what big time collegiate basketball, collegiate, football, and, showed them all the stuff that their dad did here. And I said, if you want this, Pops can help you, to strive for it. Outside of my daughter, my kids are very artistic. Zachary, at his size, is into computers and technology, and my youngest daughter's into art. She's artsy, but yet she's got the best build of all of them, like athletically. And then Livia just didn't get the size. Got her mom's height. So unfortunately, they didn't want to go to those up. And I never pressed upon my kids. And I think this is where I'm a little bit different. And we've talked about this on the show before. I'm a little bit different from the perspective that I knew that there's nothing harder than to follow behind a father. Now talking about dads, we're going to talk about the the Irvings, Kyrie and his dad and family, his whole family tree, and you got Rod Strickland. There's all that. They're all connected. But anyway, I never pushed my kids because of how hard I knew it was and the pressure that would be put upon them. Could you imagine the pressure that's on Jeffrey and the other Jordan, the youngest one, Marcus? Could you imagine just them trying to play behind their dads and what they've accomplished? So
even what Ron and Bronny are doing.
I'm telling you, I mean, there's a lot of pressure, and I will say that I didn't want to put that on mine. I wanted to let them do that if they wanted to do it, and not push them into it, as opposed to how some other families might do it.
Absolutely. Let's ask Nate Brennan about Virginia Tech families. I think the one that comes to mind is Frank and Shane Beamer. We'll see if he has any others for us.
Well, you got the Vicks. You got the Vicks.
You. That's all right. We'll ask him which family is better, the Vic family or the Beamer family, and more with Nate Brennan after this.
Nebraska's favorite vape shop,
Generation V.
providing friendly, personalized service and the largest selection of vaporizers and e-liquid flavors in the state.
Generation V.
Generation V will beat or match any local competitor's price. With a huge selection, great service, and the lowest prices, Generation V is your one-stop shop for all your vaping needs.
Generation V.
With 4 Lincoln locations, visit us on the web at generationv.com. E-cigs contain nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
You've driven by GE Landscape Supply countless times, likely without even knowing, at 6701 Cornhusker Highway. Now it's time to stop in. GE Landscape Supply sells to homeowners and contractors with a vast selection of landscaping and construction materials. They sell in bulk to save you money, and you can buy anything from a 5-gallon bucket to a semi-load. And don't forget, they deliver anywhere. Stop by 6701 Cornhusker Highway from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday to Friday and 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturdays. Go to GELandscapeSupply.com for more info or call 402-467-1627.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service, bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Allo is here to give you the FYI. Are your shows buffering? We know why. Are your games lagging? Don't deny. Your work calls dropping? Here's the FYI. Your old school internet company can't keep up. They give it a try. Their network isn't enough. Don't get trapped in their gimmicks and lies. It's time to fiber your internet with Allo. Honest, local, and hassle-free is what we stand by. Experience Allo Internet. Visit allofiber.com/FYI.
Hi, I'm Barb Bettine, President and CEO of the Lincoln YMCA. On behalf of the Y, I want to thank you for voting us Lincoln's Choice for Best Youth Sports Programs, Best Youth Activity Programs, and Best Preschool. These categories represent so much of what we do at the Y, and we're honored to serve thousands of families in our community each and every day. Hey, with summer just around the corner, I invite you to stop in to one of our 4 branches and learn how the Y can be a part of your family. The Y Outdoor Pools open May 27th, and we can't wait to see you.
There's nothing quite like the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese beef. The Mercado offers unique ingredients you can't find anywhere else, open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The full-service butcher shop and retail store is wonderful for meat lovers with their exclusive certified Piedmontese beef and assorted sausages, plus other quality meats, including pork, chicken, and a wide range of the freshest seafood. Plus, every Friday from 11 to 2, the Mercado serves up the best lunch in town on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 84th and Havelock or visit their website at cpmercado.com to see current deals.
There's a lot of realtors in Lincoln, but don't get overwhelmed by all the names. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realtor Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate is your go-to option when buying or selling residential and commercial property. Ben's team offers unbeatable customer service and promises to make the buying and selling process as stress-free as possible. Call Ben today at 402-419-6309 for all your real estate needs. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate. No pressure, just professionalism.
Your home should not be a zoo to unwelcomed animals. Let the experts at Bats to Rats take care of those problems. Dane has been a leader in wildlife and pest management and prevention in Lincoln and the surrounding area for 15 years. He can help you get rid of bats, rodents, and anything else. Whether it's residential or commercial buildings, schools, apartments, or churches, they're always a phone call away. Call today at 402-310-0904 or visit batsrats.com. Bats Rats Wildlife Control and Prevention.
If you're interested in installing solar panels in Nebraska, there's a name you need to know. Solar by Alpine Electric is based out of Lincoln, and you can be sure your project will be handled with care and detail because Rick, the owner of Solar by Alpine Electric, will be involved in the entire process from start to finish. We're an REC Solar Certified Pro installer and handle jobs in Lincoln and the surrounding area. Let us show you real-time results in your area. Call Rick today at 402-440-4371. Solar by Alpine Electric.
There's never been a better time to earn more on your checking account. Open a free Kasasa Cash checking account with Liberty First Credit Union and earn up to 5.5% APY for up to $40,000. It's simple. Open your Kasasa Cash checking account online or stop into any of the 4 Lincoln locations or Seward and Omaha branches. Liberty First makes switching easy, and Kasasa checking is always free. See libertyfirstcu.com for details. Federally insured by NCUA. Liberty First Credit Union. Banking with purpose.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're back here on the block, 93.7 The Ticket, and theticketfm.com, and all over the interwebs, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. Austin Norman and Eric Strickland with you, joined by a familiar voice, Mr. Nate Brennan, now in Kansas City, but not in Kansas City for long. Is that right, Nate? Nate Brennan, hello.
Sorry about that, guys. I was muted there for a second. Can you hear me?
Yes, now we got you.
Hey, there we go. First and foremost, Austin, congratulations to you. Saw the big news. Looks like we'll be adding another member to the Ticket family, I should say. And also, headed towards the great state of Nebraska. Some good news on my end, or I guess good news for my better half. Carly Sievers, former pitcher for Nebraska softball, officially graduating tomorrow. So she will join the ranks of us adults that will now move on to real life. But luckily for her, she still has 2 years of grad school, so she can keep playing the college kid card.
Good if you can get away with it, I guess. I mean, I like being graduated and being an adult, but the longer you can get away without adult responsibilities, I'm finding is also acceptable.
Well, I've told myself that one of these days I'll grow up and be an adult, but it certainly hasn't happened yet. So the journey continues.
Hey, one step at a time. Strick and I were talking about families last segment, and I'm going to go back to your Virginia Tech days. Who's the first family of Virginia Tech football? Is it the Vicks? Is it the Beamers?
Oh, well, it depends under what circumstances you want to say. I would probably say the Beamers. When you talk about success at Virginia Tech, it would almost certainly probably have to be the Vicks. But one you probably haven't even really thought of, if we're talking about success at the professional level, is probably the Fullers. When you talk about Kyle and Kendall, both making Pro Bowl appearances. Then the other Fuller as well had a pretty good stint in the NFL. I don't think he's still there as a fullback for the Steelers, and then I believe it was the Lions too. So it really depends on what circumstances you're talking about. For what it's worth, I don't know if this is steering towards the Dylan Raiola conversation, but that could have been a pretty good family tree in Nebraska. How about that?
Could have been, but won't be. That's not happening anymore. But Daniel Kaelin decommits from Missouri today, so maybe that's a step in the right direction. I know that you're still affiliated with it to some degree. What do you make of the Kaelin decommitment from Missouri down in your area?
I think it's interesting, and I think it just opens up a further conversation, right? And I was talking about this the other day in my own newsroom in Kansas City. When you look at Dylan Raiola, when you look at all these other kids that are committing to these top programs, do we really believe that that's where they're going to end up? I mean, you look at this, committed to Missouri. You look at Raiola, committed to Georgia. I mean, there's so many of these circumstances where you don't really know where they're going to end up. And specifically, when you think about Dylan Raiola, he was already committed to another school. So I think in this era of college football, there's so much uncertainty. And with that uncertainty, I don't necessarily think you're ever out of the running for anybody. I mean, Austin, like you said, this could be another pickup for Nebraska. Even Dylan Raiola, are we certainly convinced that he won't be coming to Nebraska at any point in time? Because there's a good chance that Dylan Raiola could walk into the University of Georgia the next year, maybe even a year after that, and not be the starting quarterback. And guess what? They're probably going to win a national championship regardless, or at least be in the playoff discussion. He walks into Nebraska tomorrow. He's the starting quarterback. It's just such a fascinating time in college football. And I think that it benefits a school like Nebraska that might be a couple steps behind some of those bigger name schools like the Georgias, like the Ohio States, like the Clemsons, where you still have a chance at some of these kids. And I think it positions Nebraska well, but man, it is a weird time to be a college football fan. And I still don't know how I feel about it.
This is for both of you. Do you actually think there's a chance Dylan Raiola comes to Nebraska, or are you just saying that because you might like to see it? Because to me, he's a Georgia until further notice. Even in the day and age of transfer portal quarterbacks, Nebraska still has to earn its way into that conversation for a top transfer like that. So at this point, I get that it's a possibility in this day and age, but I'm not even going to let myself think that it could happen until it actually does.
Well, listen, I don't want to blow smoke to anyone on the airwaves because I know the majority of listeners at 93.7 The Ticket, probably 99% of them, are Nebraska fans that would love for Dylan Raiola to be at Nebraska. And I'm not nearly as in tune with the program anymore as you guys are, but if I look at it from the outside perspective, the family tree aspect is still there. The NIL deal is still there. And the reality of it is, like I just said, he walks into the facility tomorrow. Guess what? He has a shot at being the starting quarterback, if not already guaranteed the starting quarterback role. Listen, I love Jeff Sims just as much as the next guy. I think he's going to be very successful. He's not Dylan Raiola. He probably never will be. Okay? I mean, this is just one of those situations I wouldn't count Nebraska out. The kid has already decided once that he's going to commit and then decommit. Now, will it take a year or two? Yeah, there's a strong possibility. But Dylan Raiola ever strapping on the N and putting on those football pads and helmet that wear the letter N, it would not shock me in the slightest to see that happen. Again, when you talk about the school like a Georgia, it doesn't matter who their quarterback is. They're going to win national championships regardless. If you're Nebraska, you can make the pitch. You are the one that is going to take us to the next level. And I think we can all agree with that. Again, I don't want to blow smoke. I don't want to say that it will happen. It would not surprise me in the slightest.
Strick, you've been through the recruiting process. Does that pitch sell? Does that work for recruits?
Yeah, I think it does. I think there's a lot of things that still are part of the recruiting process that we may have thought been lost since you have NIL and all this other stuff that's been put into the mix now. I still think relationships. I still think legacy. I still think the ability and the appeal to young men that you are that guy for us, and sometimes they want that smoke. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they want the instant gratification. This is why I think you had the dominance so long in the girls basketball with up there in Connecticut, with where they just wanted to just come attach themselves. Where there's a lot of guys like ourselves, like I remember when I was with the Nebraska team, we wanted to do something unique. We came to Nebraska specifically because we wanted to take Nebraska to another level ourselves. And we did things at Nebraska that no other team has ever done. Win a Big 8 championship and win a national championship of some form. We didn't win that. We're hoping somebody else comes and does that next thing. But who's going to be the one to take Nebraska football back to its greatness? And if you're that guy, I would want that smoke. If you're that guy, if you don't believe you're that guy, then you go and attach yourself to a program where there's already been guys that have created legendary status for themselves, or you want to go and create it for yourself, make your own name.
Strick, you mentioned kind of that pressure and that smoke. We did it back in the basketball transfer portal with Hunter Salas, and now we're talking about it with Dylan Raiola. Hunter Salas was an in-state kid. Dylan Raiola is a legacy. Is that the same pressure? Is it different? Is it similar? How does that compare?
I'll let Nate answer also, but I think for me, it is part of a difference, but you gotta think about it too, that that's your pops, right? So it's yes, you're not in state, but your pops was him. Your pops was him there. Whether you want to support, I think you have the ability to surpass what pops did because of your position. Obviously the quarterback position is one that's more, heavily lauded than it is at the lineman position. They get more of the glitz and the glamour and the glory, so I think you have the ability to do that. But yeah, no, there's no question that there's pressure.
Nate, where do you fall on that?
I mean, Strick can speak a little bit more playing at such a high level, both professionally and collegiately. But I look at it in terms of everyday life, right? I mean, if you are a son, a daughter, a cousin, whatever it may be, you are connected to that family tree. I mean, whenever Dylan Raiola goes out on the field, guess what the back of his nameplate's going to say? Raiola. And guess what everyone's going to associate that with? The Raiola family. I mean, I would say personally it's probably more pressure to be a legacy, because at the end of the day, say Dylan Raiola, what would happen, or this is how we should evaluate the situation. But say that he is a total dud. Say the guy isn't what he getting benched. That's right, wrong, or that's the reality of the situation. And to put it in more literal terms, that's happening a little bit regionally. I know that there's a lot of legal issues that's happening right now with Jackson Mahomes. I don't want to dive too much into the situation because, again, it's all just allegedly it's all in court right now. But what does everyone do with Jackson Mahomes? It's not Jackson Mahomes himself. It's always associated with Patrick Mahomes, and that's a tarnish on his legacy and their family. Right, wrong, or indifferent, that's the reality of the situation. So if you are Dylan Raiola, hell yeah, there's a lot of pressure coming to Nebraska and following in your father's footsteps, your uncle's footsteps, and wearing the Raiola on your backplate. Because guess what? At the end of the day, on ESPN, what are they going to say when he plays at Georgia? His dad used to play at Nebraska. Oh, his uncle is the offensive line. Guess what happens when Nebraska plays? He plays for Nebraska on ESPN. Every first down, oh my gosh, there's his dad on the sideline. Every touchdown, oh my gosh, his dad played for Nebraska. That is the storyline. That's what's going to be remembered. That's what people are talking about.
You mentioned the Mahomes. Thunder Not Collins on the text line did as well as one of those families we were talking about before, Strick, with Pat and then Patrick. Pat, of course, the baseball pitcher, Patrick Mahomes, the quarterback. But Nate, Patrick Mahomes tweeted after the Arizona Coyotes new arena deal fell through, bring hockey to Kansas City. Would hockey play in Kansas City? Would that go well?
Hey, listen, I'm all about bringing a professional hockey team to Kansas City, and I know that a lot of people around Kansas City are as well. For everyone that's made the trip to Kansas City, obviously T-Mobile Center, a great venue, hosted the Sweet 16 and Elite 8 just a few months ago. Again, high-level concerts come through here as well. That would be awesome. And Patrick Mahomes brought it up too. Kansas City Coyotes. That would be an awesome name. Absolutely. Just go ahead and bring them over. We can keep the color scheme. We can keep the name. We can keep whatever you want. That would be great. But this brings up a whole separate discussion. Is it Coyotes or Coyotes?
It's Coyotes. There's no discussion to be had. It's Coyotes.
I think it is too, but I've heard, again, I don't know if this is a Midwest thing. I don't know if people have different opinions that listen on the station. I've heard Coyotes, and people get very frustrated and take personal attacks if you don't say it the way that they like it.
Well, text line can be wrong. Text line's good at being wrong. We appreciate them. They chime in. They're right a lot, but it's Coyotes or you're wrong. Plain and simple.
Strick?
I'm rolling. I think that would be dope for Kansas City. I think Kansas City is a tremendous sports town. And I thought there should have been a basketball team there. It makes sense location-wise. Again, I just think that some of the places where they have some of the teams, I think there's no greater place. It used to be a great team there. It used to have, I think it was an ABA team there at one point in time.
Kansas City Kings. They split with
The
Omaha.
Kings.
The hockey.
Yeah. And so, I think they should bring that back. It makes sense travel-wise. You got to think about just how easy it is to travel in Midwest to other locations as opposed to having to make them long trips from the West, Northwest, and all of that stuff. So, yeah, man, shoot. Can't bring it back. Let's go.
Get a Kansas City St. Louis rivalry going with Royals and Blues. That would be fun. Get that going down I-70 as well. Nate, we got to step aside here. Safe travels up to Nebraska. I'll be at graduation tomorrow. Maybe see you there. And hope to talk to you again soon, my man.
Awesome, dude. Hope to see you there. You guys be good.
All these guests tell us to be good, Strick, and we can never promise that. I don't get it.
Oh, it's we try. We try to be good. Try to be fun. Try to have great takes and great experience here on the show and do what we can to talk about just different topics and different things. So yeah, we try to make it fun, keep it lively, but also we don't know if we're going to always be good, especially on Thirsty Thursday with Stricky around.
Thirsty Thursday is a ride. That's up on the podcast if you missed it. It's 4:25, 4:30 every Thursday. Big shout out to Kevin Meyer from Meyer's Cork and Bottle for that. Let's step aside. Let's cross it over with Old School. Wrap up the week of On the Block after this.
If you're interested in installing solar panels in Nebraska, there's a name you need to know. Solar by Alpine Electric is based out of Lincoln, and you can be sure your project will be handled with care and detail because Rick, the owner of Solar by Alpine Electric, will be involved in the entire process from start to finish. We're an REC Solar Certified Pro installer and handle jobs in Lincoln and the surrounding area. Let us show you real-time results in your area. Call Rick today at 402-440-4371. Solar by Alpine Electric.
Warm weather calls for fun in the sun and in the pool. If a backyard pool is in your summer plans, make electrical safety your priority. Visit les.com/safety to keep your family safe.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric brings exciting career opportunities for you or someone you know. They are now hiring plumbers, electricians, and HVAC techs and installers to continually build their professional team. They offer competitive pay and full benefits packages that include health, dental, vision, PTO, and 401k options. Action has created a positive team environment for over 50 years. Apply online at actionlincoln.com.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again and they're hiring for production operators at $24.11 per hour, which grows to $28.27 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $32.76 per hour with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates with increased bonuses and vacation for new hires. To learn more or to apply, go to continental-jobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
There's nothing quite like the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese Beef. The Mercado offers unique ingredients you can't find anywhere else, open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The full-service butcher shop and retail store is wonderful for meat lovers with their exclusive certified Piedmontese beef and assorted sausages, plus other quality meats, including pork, chicken, and a wide range of the freshest seafood. Plus, every Friday from 11 to 2, the Mercado serves up the best lunch in town on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 84th and Havelock or visit their website at cpmercado.com to see current deals.
Looking for a financial partner that truly makes a difference? Modern Woodman is a member-owned fraternal financial services organization. We can help you plan for all stages of life, from protection to saving to retirement. We also offer member benefits, social activities, and volunteer opportunities to help your family and community.
I'm Sean Erickson, your Modern Woodman representative in Lincoln. Call me at 402-483-6515 to start the conversation.
Modern Woodman of America, touching lives, securing futures.
Dive into good times and great savings when you take advantage of the above-ground swimming pool sale happening now at Bonzall Pool & Spa. All in-stock swimming pools are 50% off at the end of May while supplies last. You don't want to miss out on this hot deal. Visit our showroom at 33rd and Pioneers today. Learn more about the promotion at bonzallpool.com. Bonzall & Spa, every day.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn. Let you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Hi, I'm Barb Bettine, President and CEO of the Lincoln YMCA. On behalf of the Y, I want to thank you for voting us Lincoln's Choice for Best Youth Sports Programs, Best Youth Activity Programs, and Best Preschool. These categories represent so much of what we do at the Y, and we're honored to serve families in our community each and every day. Hey, with summer just around the corner, I invite you into one of our 4 branches and learn how the Y can be a part of your family. The Y Outdoor Pools open May 27th, and we can't wait to see you.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Copple Chevrolet GMC, and we are celebrating a record sales month in April, and we're going to let it roll and crank up in the month of May. We have some big discounts and special interest rates going on this month on selected new in-stock Sierras and Silverados. Buy a new Silverado or Sierra, get $3,000 off or 1.9% interest. You heard right, $3,000 off or 1.9% interest. We have outstanding specials on all of our new and pre-owned GM certified units. So stop on in and see us or check us out online at copplecars.com. You'll be glad you did. New discount, must trade in and finance with the roof credit.
Brown Shoe Fit has all types of shoes for you to excel this summer. Check out their new Keen and Tiva brand sandals for hiking and Olukai sandals for sitting by the pool. Plus, they're stocked up on Hey Dukes to catch you up on the latest shoe fashion. They also have shoes and brands like Brooks, Hoka, Merrell, On, and many more. Browns has the local professionals to get the proper fit, aided by their high foot scanner by Atrex. Stop by Brown Shoe Fit today, just south of 6th and Q in Lincoln.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
With you one final time for On the Block, Austin and Strick. Been a good week. Strick's down in Dallas. We're joined in studio now by Kenny Wilhite. Kenny, you're the man. I did not realize Johnny Rogers had a son that went to Nebraska.
Terry Rogers was a really good running back out of Omaha, of course, but he hurt his knee. He never did get back to 100% with that knee injury. So I was fortunate enough to be on the team in 90. He was on that team, and then after that, he was done.
Gotcha. News of the day, Daniel Kaelin decommits from Missouri. What do you make of that?
Well, we talked off air with Nebraska not getting Raiola. You know, you have to make a run at him, and they probably made a run at him, and he decommitted from Missouri. Now, when he commits to Nebraska, I don't know, but I'm willing to bet you they had to make a run at him for him to decommit from Missouri.
You think it's Nebraska? You think that's it? That's the only reason he decommit? Or is there potential that he's looked somewhere else?
Well, I'm sure other schools like Nebraska and other schools have continued to communicate with him, even though he committed to Mizzou.
Mm-hmm.
But again, as a former recruiter, the number one guy decommits. I mean, number one guy you don't get, you go back to the number 2 guy, and hopefully he decommits and he's in your backyard. Hopefully he decommits to where he's committed to, and then you have a shot at him.
The other interesting thing about this is that it's not just Daniel Kaelin, the target for Nebraska. They're 2 really good prospects at wide receiver. Is it more important to get Kaelin or either of the wide receivers in the fold? Did they play off each other at all?
I think they'll play off each other. I don't think you have a shot at Hall. McMorris, yes. He's not going to be an easy get, but if Kaelin jumps on board, now he could be reunited with his high school quarterback. You never know. But again, this recruiting thing, I mean, the kid was committed to Mizzou, Power 5, SEC, and we talked about it. And he decommits. They're not yours until they sign on that dotted line. So, and everybody, I heard who'd you have on from KC?
Nate
talking about Raiola.
Mm-hmm.
Again, he was committed to Ohio State, decommitted. Now he's committed to Georgia. Will he end up in Nebraska, legacy and all that? Nah. I mean, it's going to take a while until Nebraska lands a kid like that.
Absolutely. Whether it's out of the portal, I mean, it's probably slightly easier out of the portal.
It'll be easier out of the portal than it would be out of high school.
At what point, though? Okay, let's play this hypothetical out a little bit. Dylan Raiola goes to Georgia for a year, maybe 2 years, and then enters the transfer portal. Is he damaged goods? Is he bottom of the barrel, or is this, like Caleb Williams entering the transfer portal? What does that look like?
Without film,
Mm-hmm.
you got to take him off potential because he hadn't played in 2 years or a year. You know what I mean? Without film. Is he good now? Yes, but in 2 years, how good is he going to be? Has he reached his ceiling? You don't know.
I think, Kenny, one thing I want to throw out there, just this is hypothetical because none of this is set in stone. But just say Nebraska has a Mel Tucker type of turnaround, right? Where they come out and they run off and have like a, 10-2, something crazy like that, right? Does that change the perspective as far as like a potential with a Raiola? Now, say that happens and there's 2 receivers that just go nuts that are returning type of guys. Is that something that could change a potential mind of a kid that's a legacy type of kid?
You got to hope you don't lose those 2 receivers because if you hypothetically look at Michigan State now,
yeah,
that was a 1-year deal.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So schedule's kind of easy, but it's not easy.
Mm-hmm.
And then after next year, there's no East or West, if you know what I mean. So your window was this year, this past season, with the schedule you had.
Mm-hmm.
And so you haven't, and we talked about it yesterday, I don't know if they've made enough headway on both sides of the ball to be better than where they were last year, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So like you said, it could happen. They can go 10-2, 9-3, and then hopefully that's a springboard to another good year. But after this year, there's no guarantee. Strict. It's going to get even tougher with the scheduling, and So to answer to your point is, could it make it easier? It could, but it also can make it hard.
Let's pause 10 seconds for ID. We'll be back. We'll wrap up on the block after this.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. The home of Kansas City Royals baseball. KNTK FM First, 93.7 The Ticket.
Recruiting the quarterback position, even from the outside, just seems so different than any other position. I'll ask you 2 questions, Kenny. Number 1, is it different recruiting a quarterback than any other position? And number 2, what's the right number on a roster? Do you need one every class, or how do you settle into that number in a room?
It's different because the quarterback is essentially the captain of your football team. He's usually one of your leaders, but if you miss, now you're in trouble. If you don't have somebody that's behind them or stair step. So we would always say take one every year. You stair step them, or one every other year. If you have one now that's on your roster that's really good and it has 2 years, you don't need one because you just need 2 capable backups behind them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
If he's done like Jeff Sims is done next year, you want to get one.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have 2 or 3 capable backups behind Jeff Sims with 2 years behind them, you're good. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You have, if Chubba's there, Harburg's there. You don't know how good Harburg's is. You saw Chubba, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you probably need one in this class.
Right.
A really good one this class.
Mm-hmm.
Because if Jeff goes down, can you depend on Harburg and Chubba? You know what I mean? So that freshman has to be really good.
Mm-hmm. Should Nebraska, I'll say moving forward, should Nebraska look for quarterbacks that are going to be around for 2 years behind the scenes, play for 2 or 3 years, and then move on? Should be looking for a 4-year guy, or can they get to a spot where they get a high enough level where you just go year by year with a new starting quarterback?
Well, it's hard. I mean, you got quarterbacks leaving after a year of being on the campus if they're not the guy. You know what I mean? So, again, Jay and I have said it over and over and over. You have to recruit the guys that are on your roster currently. But as far as the quarterback position, these big-time quarterbacks, they ain't going nowhere to sit. They want to play. after a year, if not right away, after a year, they want to be the main, or they're going to go somewhere else.
Makes sense. I would bring in Jay Foreman. Jay, last night, Amon was telling stories about his days at middle linebacker.
Hey, AG, he was coming out of high school, he was swole. So AG's a good athlete, or a great athlete, or was a great athlete, still is a great athlete. He could definitely play linebacker. He probably would have been a really good will run and hit because he fast, boy. When you 4.2, he might have been overrunning plays, but AG when he was coming into contact, he was gonna blow some stuff up.
He probably would have overran him. He probably was not going to be a linebacker that was going to keep his shoulders square to the line of scrimmage. Didn't go. He's probably just going to turn and run.
Hey,
but if he got there,
cause some
he's
havoc,
going to cause some havoc.
He blitzed through that A gap. You ain't gonna be able to stop him getting in there. So it's he's a great athlete. He could play multiple positions, or could have.
The story came up because he read run on play action, but was in the backfield already.
Yeah.
So he met the quarterback and the running back at the mesh point.
Hey, let me tell you something. We had some guys that make some plays or made some mistakes like that. When you're so quick and fast, it ends up being a defense. There's a story about Lawrence Taylor playing when he's old St. Louis Cardinals.
Mm-hmm.
And this is when they had
Neil
Lomax, Roy Green, and who was the other receiver?
Otis Anderson. And,
who's
Stump
Mitchell. And they were good.
Receiver,
and
running back.
Lewis Sharp was a tackle, and then they had Deerdorf and all those guys. And so the Giants go on the road, and that was the old NFC East, and they had put in this play where they had LT out in the slot covering. Well, LT was sleeping in meetings. So LT said he saw a tip, went in there. They called it, and I guess Bill Belichick was the defensive coordinator at that time, along with Bill Parcells. They put this in specifically for the Cardinals. Well, they called it, and everybody else knew it. LT goes in there, sacks the quarterback, comes to the sidelines. LT, what the heck are you doing? This, and this. He's like, I didn't know, coach. I saw a tip and went. So they drew. So
that became a play. That became a defense.
Hold on. They decided to draw it up, do the adjustments, did other adjustment just in case of motion.
Mm-hmm.
They motion to it. LT goes out like he's supposed to cover. Blitz again, sack, force fumble, touchdown. They said the two Bills looked at each other. Well, we might as well put that play, that coverage in. So sometimes superior athletes override superior thinking. And that's what AG would have done. And, I heard you guys talking about quarterbacks. I think, at this point, with Dylan Raiola and stuff, you got to respect the decision. And, one thing that has to change is can't be thinking, oh, well, maybe if it doesn't work out down the road, we just like a fallback plan. See, that's how you end up.
Yep.
That's that type of mentality. And I understand it. Look, we would never turn away Dylan Raiola.
Yes.
And the circumstances could be different. Kirby Smart could move on to the NFL. The offensive coordinator could leave, right? Because Georgia has not had a lot of luck at quarterbacks. They got lucky, but they have not had a lot of luck of bringing in all these number one quarterbacks, and they end up being what they
the last high rated one was Matt Stafford that really panned out.
And that was way before Kirby. So let's just talk about Kirby, whereas Justin Fields, all these guys, it just hasn't worked out. And so, it could be down the road, but as far as Nebraska goes, you have to be realistic. The chance of him coming here was probably below 50%. I think, you got to give credit first and foremost to Mickey and staff, which Kenny's there. And Kenny could tell you, and I know from talking to Dom, been knowing Dom pretty much my whole life. Even before he got here, and our dads know each other, whereas with Mickey rekindled that. It was dead in the water with the previous staff for various reasons. Oddly enough, they were the number one choice at that Northwestern game, and then came back and really went from number one to number 0. But then Mickey rekindled it. Obviously, he's not retained. Matt Rule and those guys piggybacked off of that and really showed them some stuff where they were in the conversation. But with that being said, you had to have a realistic view when you looked in the mirror where you're at. But then also, you got to wish him luck and still, be cordial. And you can't, look at it like as a negative, because if you weren't in the conversation after a new coach, then you have to be somewhat worried. I think it's good that they recruited him hard and he made another decision. But then also you have to make sure that you're not saying, okay, well, we can just be a fallback plan, right? And you can't lower your standards.
No.
And, and that's part of the problem where we were at. Where I think you say one thing, then you do another, and this has nothing to do with the present staff because they haven't done anything yet, and whereas before the standards, what is the standard? You can tell me, but then your actions are different, right? you can say you want all these things, but are you willing to make the sacrifice? There's an old saying, Strick, and you know this in the NBA, is that, you know, everybody's saying that, you know, the big things, I want to be a beast, or I want to be a dog, or whatever the slogan is. I'm grinding, you know, I'm a grinder. Well, everybody wants to say they are those things or whatever until you have to do what's called upon to be whatever you say you are. And it's not just when you're getting interviewed for at 93.7 Ticket, you know, the shameless plug, or on, you know, Allo channel 951 or something like that, right? It's what you do on your own time, how you're thinking. It's an everyday thing. I think and this is not just the players, right? It's the coaches. It's everybody has to be doing that, and that's how you become a winning program. And that's what everybody has to do. Less talking and more doing. It seems like it probably be the biggest remedy or the best remedy. Now, yes, you have to do the social media stuff, right? We're aware of that. You know,
you got to play that game on the social media,
right? But ultimately, once social media is off and the minute and a half of the reel is done, well, then we got to get back to real work. And then once that happens, I think, you know, you'll see some drastic changes in the positive manner very quick.
Yeah, I got a quick question. There's some things out here that a lot of people are surprised about, and you guys being football guys, just talk about how difficult it is to basically like scrape your whole team and clean it out, because this hasn't been done since back, I think, Texas A&M back in the 50s, where you pretty much came in and wipe out a whole team and then try to rebuild it back. How difficult is that to do? And are you surprised that like even Deion was able to accomplish it? I got to say that I was surprised that when you have 50 some players that exit and you're now on schedule to, you know, pretty much refill your roster. Just tell us, you know, being football guys, being in that locker room, how difficult that is, and are you surprised by it?
I'm not surprised. It's very difficult, but if you have a plan from day one, it's easy.
Yeah.
And if you have a plan and you stick to it, he knew going in when he saw that roster, right, that 50 of them shouldn't be there, right? Whether it's good or bad. But he willing to bet you behind the scenes he was working with those 50 guys exited his.
Yeah. Or when you do have a plan coming into a program that was just recently 11, really hard. And really what he was trying to do is change the culture. And sometimes a lot of these young athletes don't know what they don't know, and what they view as hard work or what they view as doing the right things is just really just showing up, collecting their scholarship check and going through the motions. Well, you know, Deion, you know, where people are really, they're infatuated with the glitz and glamour of who Deion Primetime was, and they're still going back to when he was in college, when he would showboat and stuff like that. But they forget what made him great. Like they thought people were up here really think like he by him showboating, that's why he was great. He's one of the hardest working
guys
ever. And when he coached at that Johnson State, so the relationships he has and ability to put out staff and have guys come work with them. Now, granted, you get Mike Zimmer because he's still getting paid by the Vikings. He had a plan. He didn't do it all by himself.
No.
And so you got to think, I'm not surprised. I am surprised. I'm not surprised. But the same thing happened when Frost and them got here. It just is in a different way. Now, I think Nebraska, you couldn't do it because once you come here, you're here. You know what I'm saying? So you won't have a coach saying these aren't my guys in year 3, right? I need better, right? Whereas like Deion, they just gave him and he left.
Sure did. That'll put a bow on the week of Strick. Congrats to your nephew graduating. Enjoy your time down in Dallas. We'll talk to you next week. Kenny and Jay coming up next on Old School for Strick. I'm Austin. It's back on 93.7 The Ticket. Stay tuned. Old School comes your way next.
There's a lot of realtors in Lincoln, but don't get overwhelmed by all the names. National Realtor Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate is when buying or selling residential and commercial property.